morning. I hope you're having a great start to your day. We are getting ourselves ready because today we are headed to the Maine Wildlife Park with some friends. Now, if you have never been to the Maine Wildlife Park and you are from Maine, you should go. If you are not from Maine and you are visiting Maine at any point in your future, then I also recommend that you go. We have lots of experience at the Maine Wildlife Park. We got season passes for a couple of summers, and it was a really fun thing to go and do with the kids. We went on almost a weekly basis when we had the season passes, and we would try to stagger the times that we visited because we found that during certain hours of the day, certain animals were more active. And we also grew to really love going during feeding hours because the animals were really responsive to their caregivers who were giving them food, and it just allowed us to see sides of the animals that we hadn't been able to see before, and allowed us to see some animals that wouldn't otherwise be out for our viewing. So I'm going to take you along on our journey today. We'll see what kinds of animals are out and what experiences we're able to have. A couple of tips if you are headed to the Maine Wildlife Park. They do have a very nice, pretty shaded area with lots of picnic tables where you can bring a picnic lunch to enjoy. And a lot of people just roll their coolers right in and leave them by a table, and nobody touches them or messes with them. They go about visiting animals and seeing the sights of the park, and then they're able to just come back and have lunch when they would like, and then go right back to doing activities. That way they don't have to go all the way back out to their car, though it is permitted for you to exit the park to go to your car to get your food or cooler or anything that you need and come back in, just so long as you mention it on your way out so they put a face with your request to exit and re-enter. Also, they have multiple bathrooms around the place. They do have a little snack shack, so if you wanted to get some snacks, or they often have a couple of little ice cream options there, not like on a cone, but the packaged ones. And they do have a gift shop. Oh, and bring quarters because you can feed the fish. And that is a very fun thing to do. I'm sure we'll do that today, so I look forward to sharing that with you. I often forget quarters, and today I'm determined not to do that because I know that my kids would really enjoy getting to feed the fish. They're very excited about being fed. And this is probably the only time that we're gonna go this season, which is so different for us because we have gone so frequently in the past. But the kids are just a little bit older, and with that has come some summer sports that we haven't done in the past, and just plans, consistent weekly plans that we haven't always had. So I think it was a good summer to just not have a season pass, but I could definitely see us having a season pass again in the future. So without further ado, let's get ourselves to the car. Let's head to the Maine Wildlife Park and let's see what there is to see. Also, if you live in Maine or have visited Maine and there are places that you really enjoy in this state, I'd love it if you'd leave those ideas in the comments. It could be really helpful to anyone who lives in Maine and wants some new ideas of places they could go, or other people who are planning a trip to Maine. The Maine Wildlife Park is home to a piebald deer, not to be confused with an albino deer. Albino deer are completely void of pigment, while piebald deer have a genetic mutation that causes various amounts of white instead of brown hair. Be sure to check the description box if you'd like to visit a link that has some additional information about piebald deer. In all of our visits to the Maine Wildlife Park, we'd never seen an opossum here, so this was a neat opportunity. Trying to explain taxidermied animals to a 4-year-old turned out to be a pretty challenging task.
A deer or a moose? Okay, I get this sometimes, believe me. Some people think this is a baby moose, but it's just a 1-year-old little deer. His name is Post. They found him on Post Road somewhere. That's how they named him. I don't know if you've seen a moose yet down there, full grown.
Yeah.
But his name is Byron. Byron's 9 years old. This guy's just a year old.
I can't believe he's only a year old.
I know, he's got a set of antlers. Like, generally these guys at year old, they only have a little point. He's already got 5 points on there.
He's gonna be a big boy.
So he's gonna have some good antlers as he gets older. He's here because he came in last year as a fawn. And generally we let the fawns go at the end of the summer into the wild. They're ready to go. But he got sick in the fall, so we had to hold on to him, and now he's so tame that this is his new home. Because this is not what you get from a deer. Generally, they're going to bounce off into the woods. But this guy's like a little dog. He just follows me all over the place. He knows, I mean, he saw me coming with that, so his little tail's always going. He's a sweetie. He's almost my favorite now, this little guy. I work with the moose a lot, but, I mean, Byron the moose will come over. These guys will touch noses through the fence a lot.
Oh
so
my
they're
gosh.
buddies. He can't really be in with Byron because Byron's so big. Byron's not going to hurt him, but he could just by accident because of his size. But they generally get along fine. They're familiar with each other in the wild anyway. So, but he is not with the rest of the deer in the other enclosure because he's just so tame. The other buck in there, the other male, could push him around or hurt him, you know. So he's over here enjoying his life. So he's very social. He loves people.
Will he get any bigger?
Oh yeah, he's just a year old, so he's gonna get bigger. If you saw the moose yet, did you guys see the moose yet?
Not yet.
He's pretty well full grown when you see Byron the moose. His antlers get bigger every year. Like these guys, the antlers fall off in the early winter and they grow a new set. All summer long they're growing. His just won't stop growing. Basically, he's in velvet right now. His antlers are as soft as they look because the velvet is full of blood vessels and that's what's making those antlers grow. So that velvet's gonna start drying out pretty soon on his antlers. And then those antlers will kind of look like the wood you're leaning on. It's gonna be a lighter, you know, like an antler color that you've probably seen in the past. It's not gonna match his body any longer. It's gonna be a lighter color. And then those antlers, like I said, will fall off in the early winter. And baby deer. Baby deer, they're independent after the summer.
Will this one be released?
No, he's just so tame now. As you can see, the little tail's always going. He's like a dog. He really is. Those blood vessels, and that's what makes those antlers grow. When those antlers no longer look soft, it's truly like a bony material. They're not growing anymore. That's when they're done because something happens to them.
But they don't naturally breed when they're together?
No, well, they may try, but we're gonna give the females shots so they can't get pregnant.
Okay.
And we do separate them generally. I mean, sometimes it'll start early. But generally September, October, we're gonna shut them down. So the male, we do have a male over in the other yard. We're gonna separate him from the female till the winter time. And we had other moose that are together all summer long. But you get into the fall, we would separate them because the males will fight or they're going to
look,
try to
there's
mate with the
squirrel
females.
there.
So,
There's something.
It's cute.
Does anyone have any questions about moose? Any moose questions? He's not the biggest that they get. He's a medium-sized bull. He's, again, about 750 pounds. But they can easily be 1,000 pounds. The females are usually between 500 to 800 pounds. And males are usually between like 700 to 1,000 pounds. And we measure them from their feet, from the ground to their shoulder. And most bull moose are between 6 to 7 feet tall, and the females are usually between like 5 to 6 feet tall. He's about 6.5 feet tall at his shoulder. If the moose got the first hit, they would win. He has a very, very strong kick. So if he got the bear first, I think that the moose is good. But if the bear snuck up on him, he might be in trouble. But moose and bears are not predators of each other. The problem, what we prey for most bears are moose calves or fawns. So when they're babies, they're still small, but they're not going to go after a full-grown moose like this. He's too big, too strong, too much work.
Look at him munch up those leaves. Takes him no time at all, huh?
First couple of months they gain weight so fast, so fast. Like, it's crazy watching them grow in that amount of time. I mean, of course, even human beings grow a lot in those first. Yeah. And they're like all legs. When they are born, they're just these tiny little skinny, long-legged creatures. They still are, even as adults. They're a lot of legs. And belly.
the bears.
It's a big bear.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to get That's like a ramp that they can go up.
Hmm.
Wait, to get up. And those trees are like a little place to like. They're gonna sit. Guys, you're kind of lucky. I know it's hot and all, but you have each other and you got a pool, so you can live.
As we were walking around the park, we were observing these geese, and we noticed that the majority of them had a wing sticking out, and it looked like they were injured. We actually later learned by reading a sign that these geese have something called angel's wing, and it prevents them from being able to fly. reflecting on just how much we enjoyed our time out, between getting to spend some time with friends, as well as getting to see the animals at the Maine Wildlife Park and learn some facts that we hadn't previously learned before. Well, that is going to be it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us on our trip to the Maine Wildlife Park. I hope that if you haven't been able to go, that you'll have the opportunity to do so in person one day.